Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing another robot vacuum that self-empties itself. But this one is called the Light and Easy Robot Vacuum. It is thin, it's a lot smaller than the other robot vacuums out there. It has this Dyson-esque look to it. There's not a lot of filters going on, so you don't have to be into a money pit with filters and things, which is good. It also cuts out on the agitator roll. It doesn't have an agitator roll. It has like these flappy little lips underneath the robot vac, and that thing kind of keeps a sort of seal to the floor. And now it doesn't have a section that kind of lowers and goes up and down with the different terrain underneath like the previous one that we reviewed, but this one does have some rubber flaps to kind of help create some sort of seal across flooring, various types of flooring. But I'm going to read through some of the specs, and I'm going to give you what I think about this. And it's $199 too, so $199 for a self-dumping robot is pretty slick purchase there. And it does get under everything, which can be good and bad. There's no LiDAR, so I call this a dumb robot vac because it basically kind of does the same thing every time. There's no Wi-Fi either. You get a remote control, but let me go through the specs, and then quickly we're going to buzz through this one. This is self-emptying, sucks dirt from the dustbin into the docking station, free from frequent dustbin emptying. And yes, it's true, it holds 0.95 liters of debris, about a 30-day supply. This is currently housing 2 weeks of debris. So keep that in mind whenever I show you what it collects versus something similar that I already own with maybe a little bit more suction power, but it has an agitator brush. So we'll see the benefits of that agitator across carpet. Strong suction plus 3-stage cleaning system, sweep up dirty, stubborn debris, crumbs, pet hair, things of that nature. I will say that this is good for hair. So if you have 2 females in the house like me, a wife and a daughter that sheds more than probably the most shedding dog available, this thing will actually pick up that hair and not get it constantly tangled, meaning you have to constantly clean out the agitator brush, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. 11-inch diameter, 3 inches height, so it is short. 3 inches is short. You can get under all your furniture, all of it, to the point to where it was doing it in the living room and getting in between. It was getting under my sofa, which no robot vac has ever been, and then there is a divide there between 2 rugs, and it got to the point that I couldn't use it in the living room, that I had to confine it to a bedroom, master bathroom, master closet kind of thing, and really test it through there. But it had multiple flooring, carpet, tile, carpet, and hair, and constant debris because the kids love to play in the bedroom, and toys to get around. So I was able to get a full understanding over the couple weeks. Auto clean, spot clean, edge clean, program clean with this remote. But you can do everything that you can typically do from an app with the remote, but there is no Wi-Fi. So if they do come up with solutions for things, it's not going to be an over-the-air update for it. And that is a downside, so know that going into it. Basically, you need to know the limitations of this robot fully going into this, and I hope to point that out so that if you do decide to purchase this, you will know exactly what you will be getting. You do get 2 edge brushes, sweeping brushes on each side to sweep it into that rollless suction device underneath the bottom of the robot. There is no agitator, so those 2 brush heads will sweep the debris in and slightly maybe agitate the top layer of your carpet, but don't expect anything crazy from that. The hatch on the front here, which we'll access there. The cool thing is you can access this lid with it in the charging station, which is cool. It has an on-off switch on the top, which is nice. If you just want to leave it off, you can do that. If you got kids like me, like to push buttons, you just switch that thing off. You shouldn't really mess with this too much, but you can rinse this out and let it completely dry the bin inside if you want to clean it. But it's been able to suck it out completely on its own. It does have edge drop detection too, should I forget to mention. You do get 4 of the side brush rolls, counting the 2 on there. You get a high efficiency filter for the robot. remote, instruction manual, robot, and the docking station all come with it. Now let's get in to the performance part that we've gone over some of the specs and features of this thing. As I keep mentioning the brush heads on it, that is kind of the downfall of it being able to go up to the charger. It gets in its own way. As these two things are spinning around, it's actually grazing over the contacts that detect when it's at its docking station and charging. So it's spinning, going up on there, and it will actually cause a disconnection from the docking station, thinking that it hasn't found it correctly. Back off, go again, back off, go again, and just by a miracle, it will touch in between those brush strokes and then stop spinning those and then start charging. So that could have been something that if it was Wi-Fi, they might could address in a firmware update. So yeah, that kind of sucks because it is hit or miss about it getting onto the station. So hopefully if they see this, they might can address it in future units that'll be shipped out, that somehow maybe it can know where those bristles are located and maybe stop turning them to go onto the station. That would be a plus to find its contacts, because I think it would do a good job if it did it. And basically how it finds its space station, it seems to, when it's running low, hug the edges until it sees the beacon for it, and then hones in and goes right to it. So it really hasn't had much of a problem. I've had a few hiccups, maybe 2 times that I haven't found the station. But there's no LiDAR, it's a dumb vac. Those kind of things happen with this kind of setup here. Carpet, here's the big curious one that I was curious about, is it does have an agitator brush. So how's it going to agitate the carpet to knock out some stuff to suck it in? Well, basically it's just a topical device. It's only going to gather stuff on the top, and it's evident whenever you compare an agitator robot like this ran for 2 weeks. I run a similar vac. It's a little bit wider in diameter, but pretty similar, but it has an agitator. I ran it, it gets finer, it gets a different set of particles, which you can see in this footage here. This one gets basically all your topical debris, you can see that, you can tell that. And then one with the agitator goes a little bit deeper into carpet. So you can expect to actually run your vacuum, whether you've got a stick vac or plug-in vac, battery pack vac, whatever, you're going to run that in conjunction with this. This is just topical. So yeah, I imagine what I would do is run your plug-in vac, which is your strongest, over the carpet, then set this thing up to run on a regular basis after that, and then go back and hit your plug-in vac probably every couple weeks or so outside of running this thing. Benefits though to this would be hair, like I mentioned, wife and daughter, hair, shedding everywhere. This is not going to get tangled in a brush. It sucks right in and it goes right into this. Taking this off the base station is pretty easy. There's a button here on the top to push, releases it. Push a button here to dump it. Filter in here, so you just push the button here and then boom, you have access to a traditional vacuum filter, which has some debris in it. There's some hair in here. So it caught something. It's got a nice little hefty gasket there for sealing. Kind of pops back together again. You grab it by the little handle here and it can go right back into its space and snaps back in there, so it's very easy. The good part too is the maintenance on it and the upkeep. Super simple, easy, but like I said, it's small, so it's going to put you to task on making sure all your little hidey holes for your surge protectors and cables and stuff ran. It's going to find it. It does a decent job of getting around stuff on its own, but it will get up onto some things and get stuck because it is so short, that 3 inches. The LiDAR vacs are just beefier. A lot of those have more suction. I'm not sure if I can find it in the specs what the exact suction is for this thing. I didn't see it reading it, but it's not as much as a typical vac. I don't think it's 2000 PA. Could be 1500 or so. I'm really not sure. It just doesn't sound audibly as loud as some of the standard ones that I've had, so it has a reduced amount of suction, I would say, but I'm not sure. I'll try to leave a link to it. Maybe it has something I missed in there on that suction readings. But who's it not for? I don't think it's for someone who has a lot of carpets, a lot of rugs, or anything like that. I think it would be for people who have a lot of hardwood floor space, a lot of bathroom space. You have a large master bath, you got a lot of hair running around. This thing will gather everything topical from that. You have a smooth surface. You don't have like scraped laminate that might be bumpy, and then the scraped laminate tile type that might be bumpy with a lot of the tile grooves in between along with those bumps, because it doesn't really hug that surface well like the last one that I reviewed did. So if you've got a good flat surface of your typical tile, typical hardwood flooring and stuff like that, I think this vac might work for you. And if you don't want to get technical and have an app and things like that, and you just like an old school remote, $199 is the price for this for self-dumping. That's a pretty good price, but you can see where a lot of things get cut from it to get that price down to that $199. So just know what you're getting, keep your expectations correct, and don't be thrown off whenever it's not the best at what you wanted it to be. It can really only do a few things good, if that makes any sense. But the link to this will be down in the YouTube description. So make sure to explode on that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notified on the next product review that I got coming out. I've got some good ones coming down the pipe. Some really weird ones too for the time of the year. Is like, is it really time of the year for that? Well, it's called getting it out there before the holiday season rolls around. Get you thinking, huh? See ya.
It woke up.